Yaps. It's in the name. India, that means Yogi's next powerful party candidate. I don't know who Yogi is, though. Short-term oil price is a small price to pay. You're not paying for your gas there, guy.
Every war has a front line. This conflict now has two. The first is in West Asia. The second is in the global oil market, because the war has reached the petrol pump near you and it is hitting government budgets. Today, the price of oil crossed $100 per barrel. This was a jump of more than 20%. We're talking about Brent crude here. It is the global benchmark for oil prices. Think of it as a global price tag for 1 barrel of oil. Today, Brent crude surged to around $119 for 1 barrel. $119 per barrel. Later in the day, there was a pullback. The price settled at around $105 per barrel. So there was some relief, but compare that to last week. Until last Friday,
build manufacturing, cargo terminals, and India's future is with India to understand the oil crisis. Watch Atrik Big A video. Put it in the Discord.
Brent crude was trading at around $92
but I do
a
think
barrel.
I do think if India works on its infrastructure, its overall like air quality and civic sense, oh my goodness, India is going to be a completely different place.
So effectively, there's a jump of $13 in a single weekend. What triggered the rise? Supply disruptions. We've talked about this before on the show. The Strait of Hormuz, the narrow channel of water near Iran. 20% of the world's oil passes through this waterway. The Strait of Hormuz is a choke point, and Iran controls it. Iran has been blocking supplies through the strait. It is not letting oil tankers pass. In other words, there is a supply disruption. And now the global markets are feeling it.
Damn.
They're losing 20 million barrels of oil per day. According to one commentator, this is the largest oil supply shock in recorded history. This is the largest oil supply shock in recorded history. 20 million barrels vanishing from the market every day.
Chat, how do we feel about this? Cat 007, Ranji, how do we feel about this? This is the 20 million or just the biggest oil shock ever in history. We're going to see how the effects on it. It's going to ripple around the world. This is going to have a rippling effect.
Let me try and put this number in context. From 1978 to 2022, the world went through 5 major oil crises. And the combined loss from that was 20 million barrels. 20 million barrels from 5 different disruptions in total. And now this conflict alone, one conflict, is doing the same amount of damage on a daily basis. But US President Donald Trump has a different view. The oil price hike is a direct consequence of the war that he launched, but Trump says it's a small price to pay. Let me quote from his statement on Truth Social. Short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for the USA and world safety and peace. Trump also said, and I'm quoting again, only fools would disagree with this. So for the US president, this oil price hike is not even an issue. Not everyone agrees, of course. The leaders of the G7, for instance, disagree. G7 is a group of 7. It's an alliance of 7 wealthy Western nations. They've called an emergency meeting today to discuss oil. Asian nations are also sounding an alarm. South Korea has announced caps on fuel prices.
This is interesting.
Thailand has done the same.
Caps on fuel prices, huh?
Both governments want to shield their citizens from the rising prices. In the Philippines, the government has made an unusual move. It has put civil servants on a 4-day work week. The idea is to reduce energy consumption by 10 to 20%. Remember, the Philippines imports 90.
That's interesting. They said, okay, we can't afford everyone to go out there traveling. Shorten the work week to 4 days.
6% of its crude.
For my work, for what I do, that wouldn't matter.
from West Asia, and that figure alone
Same in
explains
Pakistan
why
too?
Manila is worried. Then you have Bangladesh. They've gone one step further. Bangladesh has closed
It just shows you how important oil is how important oil is for running the world.
all public and private universities.
Same in
and has also
Bangladesh and
advanced
Pakistan?
the Eid al-Fitr holidays. This is part of Dhaka's energy conservation measures. They're also
Interesting.
rationing fuel. And that brings us to India. India is one of the world's largest importers of crude. So far, the price rise has not hit the Indian consumer. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has issued a statement. She said India does not expect inflation to rise substantially and that domestic prices are still in control. You see, the Reserve Bank of India, India's central bank, has a band, a range within which inflation is considered manageable. And right now, India is near the bottom of that range. So there is room to absorb the shock, at least for now. What about the oil prices? Reports say the government has chosen to hold the line for now. Oil companies have been asked to absorb the impact. So no price hike immediately. But this tolerance will be tested in the coming days. If prices continue to rise globally, keeping fuel affordable in India will become much harder. As the war in West Asia escalates, the whole world basically is being drawn in. The missiles may be landing in and around Iran, but the bill has started to arrive everywhere.
The world doesn't fit in boxes, so why should...
Okay, let's see what the comments have to say. Trump will pay the price for us. It is a small price after all. The U.S. needs to have a military restrictions or a leash like Germany or Japan. The U.S. always takes front row on world order and peace, but in the back end, they themselves create war, disorder, and mass destruction. Small price to pay for billions. The small price to pay eventually turns into inflation. I think just people are missing the point on this. I mean, it just shows how important oil is to literally running the entire universe. The economy can't survive on $100 a barrel, huh? We just kind of watch something like that. We can watch that tomorrow.